Hello, guys. This is gonna be my new channel where I talk about my opinions, what I think. I'm gonna Google a lot of stuff. I'm gonna chat GPT a lot of stuff, and let's see if my mind changes as this live goes on. We shall see. I'm looking good, I think. I just showered. I worked out a little bit. So, let's talk about the topic I want to talk about right now, which is Spanish is being invaded by Morocco. Now, I'm not saying that Morocco is intentionally invading a country, you know, but according to Google, 60,000 migrants crossed from Morocco into the Spanish North African enclave of Ceuta. Now, 60,000 people, mostly Moroccans, you know, it does sound like a Moroccan invasion. Now, this is my thoughts, my opinions, what I think, you know. This is all allegedly because this is the information I see. Where now, if it's 10, if it's 20, if it's 2, if it's any amount of number trying to enter your country without authorization, uh, it's illegal. Now, you may not be a bad person, but you are committing a crime. Entering illegally, it's a crime. So, my thought process is where are the police? Where are the guns? Where are the people saying, hey, 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 okay, you can't come in, but if you agree, that will lock you up, put you on a plane, and send you back where you're from. Or if you want to use force, enter, and we'll use force back. Simple. I respect you as a human being. If you decide to use violence against me and my country, I will use violence back. It's your decision. You know, if you're a criminal and want to commit crime of entering another country, we will use the necessary force to stop you. Now, when this happens, when somebody wants to commit a crime so badly, it's very difficult to control. It's so difficult. I mean, you're trying to hold to I mean, so in this particular case, 60,000 people, or whatever the number really is, maybe it's 80,000, maybe it's 20,000, maybe it's 40,000, maybe it's 10,000, maybe it's 100, but 100 people are very difficult to control. And there's a big entrance and a lot of people going everywhere, and you just have to act as hard as you can, as quickly as you can, because you have to try and stop as many people as you can. Now, I hope, I hope, I hope that nobody dies in this situation because that would be horrible. Losing lives is bad. But if losing your life is a consequence of the actions you with your mind decided to do, what can I do? What can the police do if you decide to break the law, to keep fighting, to not comply with police demands? Now, in this case, I didn't see any police. I hope in the few videos I've seen, I haven't seen that many, but that shouldn't have happened. They should have maybe come and say, oh, there's guards, there's no place for me to enter to through, let's go back. That's the thing that should have happened, because that would have been Spain doing their job. Police, politicians, government of a country, its job, its only job, take care of their own citizens, not their immigrants, not of the illegal immigrants, not of anybody else that wasn't permitted to enter. If someone was given a visa to a temporary stay in the country, in any country in this case, the country say, hey, um, you have done a lot of good things for this country. We can offer you a citizenship so you can stay here legally and be part of us. Good. But there's also the chance to be like, hey, you haven't been doing the right things. You have been complaining about how we do things. You have been committing crimes. You have been not paying your dues. You have not assimilated. You don't know how to speak the language. We're gonna kick you out because that is a right. We give you a right to stay as long as you comply with our laws. And if at some point we say, no, you're not complying to our laws, so we're going to kick you out, that person should be like, oh, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I will go back to my country. I will consider my actions, maybe think of a new plan and try to get back in a legal way. And thank you for being a safety net. So I didn't do worse things, or that you peacefully came and took me back to my country. That's how things should work. Now, I do have a problem with illegal immigration in as a whole, because the basic things that, like, if a country and all its citizens have to obey the laws, have to pay taxes, have for the sole purpose that the country will take care of them, and then illegal people come to the country and abuse first, how to say it, break into a country illegally and take advantage of all that the citizens have paid for. Also, let's say a country is a house. A house, let's say, has $1,000, and a house is set for 4 people, and 100 people enter. That $1,000 that was very good for the 4 people and was divided, and everybody was heard, everybody was protected, and then 100 people come and that $1,000 becomes nothing or very, very, very little. And the people who were there legally have to share that $1,000 with people who entered illegally. How does that make sense? And if the police try to kick them out, God bless ICE, because they're doing a very tough job. Let's go to America a little bit. If ICE, if the government tries to kick those people out as peacefully as it possibly can, they become the villains. How is that? How could ICE be the villain if they're only doing what the government is asking of them? Their job is to enforce the laws of immigration. You didn't obey the laws of immigration because you enter illegally. So ICE comes, picks you up, and sends you home. Now those people don't want to be sent home. They want to keep being illegal or take advantage of some law and try to become citizens. But if they already broke the law, they shouldn't deserve a chance to become legal. Now, now there's context. If some people enter illegal and ICE comes immediately and kicks them out, done. Now, there have been illegal families that spent a lot of years in the US illegally, but they had kids who who be, who became citizens when they were born in the US and lived a good life. The illegal parents, even though they were legal, they work honest jobs. They, I mean, some people get like fake green cards, so they still pay taxes, and they get none of they can't get that money back. So in a way, they are contributing, and they spend 20, 30 years or 40 or 50 or whatever living quiet lives, taking care of their children becoming good people, becoming good contribution to the country. So in those particular cases, which are not all, I would rather like the country say, hey, you have been here for 30 years. You you've contributed this much to this country. You speak English, your entire family speaks English. Um, you being a good person to the US. So this is what we're gonna do. You entered illegally. So there will be a fine for that. That could be a lot of money. As long as it's what as long as it's what the country decides it is. The government said, okay, you will pay this amount of money. And since you spend the 30 years living a good life in the US, you're gonna pay that money, and you're gonna pass the immigration test, you're gonna pass all that information. We'll audit all your finances, we'll do all that we have to do to make sure that you live the life we think you are living, a good life. Your community agrees, your family agrees, everything says that you lived a good life, and we prove that you lived a good life, and we'll give you the citizenship. I think that would be a good compromise. However, if you haven't had a job for a long time, if you've been proven to commit crimes, if you hurt anybody, if you attack the police, even if it's in self-defense, because in most cases, if the police see you and wanna interrogate you, they mostly think that you're doing something wrong, and mostly you are doing something wrong if the police is trying. Now, so if you're doing things the wrong way and you're fighting not to be caught by the police, then I'm sorry, you shouldn't get any rights for immigration. All your rights are jail till you get deported. That's the only rights illegal immigrants should have. And of course, the police will do everything not to kill you. But if you fight the police, consequences happen. It will not be intended to end your life, but If your, as I repeat, your actions have power. If you don't want to go back to your country and you run away from the police, you put people in danger while you're doing it, and the police need to stop you because they need to protect the people, the country, the infrastructure, everything. They will have to find a way to put you down, to stop you. You can make it easy by surrendering. I'm sorry. I will go back to my country. You will do the honorable thing by giving up. People, our actions, our words have incredible power. Incredible power. And and life is powerful. Life is very powerful. If you go against life, life will fight back. So let's go back to Spain. Spain is a house. It has a certain amount of money, a certain amount of jobs, a certain amount of possibilities. If all these 60,000 people, or however many there are, keep taking those opportunities from people who pay taxes, from people who've been Spanish all their lives, from people who speak Spanish uh, and have lived the life of a Spanish man or a woman, only they will lose. Only the country will lose. Because it's impossible not to. As I said, if a country with $100 or $1,000 for four people is invaded by 120, 30 people, that's that $1,000 gets divided into all those people, then each person will have less. And how come the people who do it correctly suffer for the people who do it incorrectly? How does that make sense? Now, there will be people who say, hey, we need to help people who are doing worse than us. Okay, yes, let's help people who do worse than us. But it does matter how you ask for help. One thing is to stay in your country and write letters to your government, write letters to other governments, people, we need help. And then it's not that, and then those countries will do what they can to help that country. It's not like, they're asking for so much food, they're asking for TVs, they're asking for clothes, they're asking for jobs, we'll give it all. No, we can only give what we can. And the person who's asking for help has to do what they can with what they're given. In some cases it means ration the food so that there's food for every day. In some cases it means, okay, we are gonna take that job that we hate, but it helps build things. If you're poor, I'm sorry. but there are sacrifices to be made when you're poor. If you're rich, I don't expect you to help all people's problems because probably you have your own problems. But if you do an accounting of your life, of your decisions, and there's extra money to help people, I hope you do. Because if middle class people, if people uh, with less possibilities to help, then people with more possibilities should also help. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be forced to help. Because, for example, there's a lot of hate for CEOs. You know, why do they serve to be billionaires? But that's simple because they do help it. You may say that they fund a lot of charities because of the tax exemptions or something. But so what? They're still helping people. They're still giving a lot of jobs. So I'm pro billionaire. I'm not pro bad billionaire who just forces people to work for them and pays as little as possible. But I'm pro doing the best you can and having a great effect on the people around you. And everything we do affects the people around us. Everything may not seem may not seem automatically, but people are affected by our actions and by our words. So, so first we have to look into ourselves because it all starts from here. I believe in God. I believe God is inside me. I don't speak for God, nobody can, but I believe God is inside me, and He gave me the 10 Commandments as a way to guide my life to do better decisions. So, for these immigrants, illegal, illegal, because immigrants are good. When people try to immigrate to another country and they prove that they have certification, they can fill spots, they can fill jobs that are needed for the country. That's beautiful. I've lived in 8 countries so far, and it's beautiful. I mean, I lived in China, which was a beautiful country. I worked hard. I studied Chinese. I loved the people. I lived in Thailand, in an island of Koh Samui. It was a beautiful country, and the food was amazing. The food was incredible. I lived in Belgium. Belgium was fantastic. I lived in a small city in Leuven, and it was literally my favorite place in the world. Good food, good work, good study. I got my bachelor's degree from there. I loved it. I also lived in, well, of course, I'm from Chile, so I lived a lot of time in Chile. I love my country. I also lived in the US for a little bit, very little, very short time, and I loved it. You know, I saw California. I love the people. I love meeting the people there. I also lived, let's see, Portugal. Portugal was amazing, even though I lived there like during COVID. But it was an amazing country, beautiful. I lived in Sintra, outside of Lisbon, and I lived in like areas with a lot of mountains, and it was amazing. I would go walking. I would eat the amazing food. Oh my god, it was beautiful. Where else? I lived in the UK to get my football coach certification. It was amazing. I love Manchester. and I love England. It's such a nice country. And I also lived in Turkey, which it's an incredibly beautiful country. The food is amazing. Now, it's an Islamist country, you know, uh, and I'm Christian, and to be honest, it was one of the hardest countries for me to live in. Uh, the language was very difficult, uh, but the people treated me well. I because went the right way. I tried to. We went to create a factory. We did the best we could, and we communicated with the people. It was a beautiful experience. So I love immigration as long as it's a benefit for the country, as long as it's legal, as long as the country is like, okay, we know you're here, we know what you're doing, we know you're not doing the wrong thing, so we permit it. Give it your best shot. If you can make it, awesome. If you can't, goodbye. Hope this was a good experience. I lived there for 2 years. It was good. It was difficult, but so I love immigration, but I don't. But I very much dislike illegal immigration, and I'm sorry you're having a hard time in your country. I'm sorry you are not permitted to do what you want to do, or you haven't found a way to do what you want to do in your country. But I'm sorry. The best thing for you is to, and I'm nobody tell you what you should do, because you should do what your conscience tells you is the best decision. If really breaking into another country is the best thing you think to do, you should just be aware that those actions have potentially horrible consequences. That a police officer would use violence against you to stop you and send you back. If you're strong, the opposition will be stronger and the consequences will be worse. So I hope nothing bad happens to these people, but I hope, for the sake of Spain, for the sake of these people, that the police and the government take action, pick them up, send them back peacefully, and that they have a chance to fix their issues in their country. Thank you. Now I will be trying to do this kind of thing every day, but I haven't been consistent in terms of social media. But let's continue to talk about issues. Any issue. Like next tomorrow's video, the video I want to make tomorrow is about Supergirl, the movie. Uh, so I'll do my commentary. I'll talk about what I thought, my opinions, and let's talk about it. The day we stop talking is the day fish fly, and we shouldn't have to fight to either agree to disagree, to come to a meeting of the minds. To So let's keep talking. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.